Okay, we got to conditional statements. In this lecture, we're going to talk about the language constructs of C# that are used for controlling the program execution. In C#, we have two types of conditional statements. We have if and else, and we have switch and case. We also have a conditional operator, which is basically a short way of writing an if and else. Let's take a closer look at each of these statements. Here is the basic structure of if statements. With if, we always have a condition, which is enclosed in parentheses, followed by a statement that will be executed if the condition is true. We can optionally have an else if with another condition, and again another statement that will be executed if the condition is true. And optionally, we can have an else statement. So if none of the earlier conditions is true, then this piece of code will be executed. If we have more than one line of code after if or else statements, we always need to enclose them with curly braces. We can also use that if we have only one line of code. We can also nest if statements inside each other. So here, as you see, I have got an if statement, and inside its body, I've got another if and else statement. Now, one thing I want to warn you is to avoid using multiple nested if statements. Multiple nested if statements result in code that is hard to read, hard to understand, hard to maintain, and hard to test. So that's what we call a code smell, and that's something you should avoid at all times. Switch is slightly different from if. With if, we usually have a condition that is evaluated, and if it's true, then some piece of code will be executed. With switch, however, we have a variable, and we compare the value of that variable with different values. So in this case, I have a switch on a variable here called role, which is an enumeration. I have two case statements here. At least we should always have one, but you can have more depending on your circumstances. So I'm comparing the value of role with this one here, role.admin. So if the role is admin, then this piece of code will be executed. And note that each case statement is terminated by a break statement. Then I have another case statement. So if the role is moderator, then this piece of code will be executed. If none of these conditions is true, then the default block will be executed. And of course, we need to have a break statement here as well. Now let's jump into code and explore each of these constructs in action.